Yes, another banger year in the books for music. So much good music came out this year. So much that I have to make 2 videos talking about it. This time, I'm going to be talking about the EPs that came out this year that I like. EPs, I think it shows artists with more potentials than albums do, and also gives artists room for experimentation. A lot of the artists I will be talking about in this video are relatively unknown and are just putting together their first project. It's interesting to see that, especially when against more established artists who use EPs to put out something short and cohesive instead of tackling a larger project, and allows for them to experiment. There won't be an order for this list like my top albums list, since I feel like it might be too nitpicky for me to critique things in such a short package like EPs are. So this is going to be more informal and more of a highlight of upcoming artists. So hopefully you find something good here. This one's pretty obligatory. Maruja dropped a banger EP last year, earning tons of buzz amongst critics and fans. And this year they did the same thing as well with their EP, Connla's Well. Connla's Well shows how much raw energy they have and condenses it down to a 22-minute package. A perfect example of an artist making a solid experience in 22 minutes while still showing that they have a lot more to offer. So much so that this year they also release an album's worth of extended jam sessions that are also awesome, by the way. It has suspenseful storytelling, jazzy inflections, and an anxious kind of post-punk that I've been craving for so long. It's just something that fills the Black Country New Road shaped hole in my heart. What can I say? The whole breakcore trend has swept the internet, and even I'm not immune to it. Artists like Femtanyl have shown to be exemplary in proving that this whole breakcore thing isn't just some passing fad of rebranding old genres from the 90s. With their EP, Reactor, it shows why breakcore's merging of fast-paced breakbeats and atmospheric synths are way more than the stale attempt of evoking nostalgia they are on the surface. And it's done with this hyperactive punk attitude that makes this sound so much more distinct. It's done with this hyperactive punk attitude that makes this generation's sound have a distinctive edge. In the short 6 songs on this EP, you see that in full force, with banger after banger. Danny Brown also has a feature on it, which is strange, but seeing as he's making the rounds in the hyper-pop electronic crowd, I'm fine with it, because every song and every feature he's been on has been a banger. That alone makes this thing worth listening to. Oh hey, another group Danny Brown has done a song with, Frost Children, but this EP has no Danny Brown features, but is instead a collaboration with Haru Nemuri, which sees the hyperpop duo have their rave anthems given a harsher edge. It's a fresh turn for them to do after embracing pop-punk tropes with their latest record, to then go from that to this and have that same influence undercut with a harder rock style. Although that doesn't mean that they haven't lost their party quality at all. It just now has that added element to it. If you get a chance to listen to their music, especially with this EP, if you get the chance to listen to the music, this EP is a great shot. Or maybe just see them live, like I did last year when they opened for George Clanton. And they did an amazing job hyping up that crowd. Either way, check them out. Listen to the music live or not, check them out. Bon Iver has somehow gone mainstream ever since their debut album, For Emma Forever Ago, came out in 2008, working with the likes of Kanye West, Taylor Swift, and Zach Bryan to great success. With this EP, Sable, they have shown that none of it has gone to their head, and that they still have that quiet power of their first 2 albums. It's got that same quaint, folksy charm and powerful vocals that those albums had. It's bare bones, minimalistic, and honestly quite brief, but it is a good reminder that after all these years, Bon Iver is still the same old Bon Iver as they were when they started. Fame or no fame, they are still the same, and they're still good. I wanted to include these guys in at least one of my year-end lists, and while they may only be an honorable mention in my best albums list, their EP of covers is an excellent display of what makes them great. This is a Glasshouse is a Canadian indie rock outfit that has gained a little bit of traction, but ultimately deserves much more. Their arrangements, or in this case, their rearrangements, are quite eccentric, even for their weird selection of covers on display here. From Shoo Shoo to Radiohead, and even to Philip Glass, it shows a quite eccentric personality that they have, and their eccentric musicality. The Shoo Shoo cover is especially strange considering how much depth it gets out of the arrangement of a song that is otherwise claustrophobically intimate. It's jazzy and incorporates a large selection of instruments into its unique indie rock style, but also is another great example of a band scratching that Black Country New Road itch. So look into it, please, and give these guys the recognition they deserve. This is probably one of the strangest EPs on here. Nourished by Time makes music that is so intimate and unorthodox, yet somehow plays to R&B conventions effortlessly. In Catching Chickens, his deep voice works alongside these synths to create equal parts playful and ethereal, which pairs well with the buoyant lyrics on it that embrace the joy of life in the face of modern issues. I can't get enough of the style. It's just so catchy and unique, even in the era of unique R&B we have right now. If you haven't, checked this out alongside his album Erotic Probiotic 2 that he put out last year, which I slept on for some reason. The style may take a little getting used to, but when it clicks hard. Another unknown name that surprised me this year, with a great little project of hushed folk music, Mei Semones' KabutoMushi, a very subdued folksy rock record incorporating swooning string sections that put it at a rank above the rest. It combines bossa nova, indie rock, and folk pop to hit upon something uniquely tranquil. Sung in a mixture of English and Japanese, the vocals really put me at ease listening to them, and work really well alongside the wide array of instruments they selected. It's really reminiscent of someone like Ichiko Aoba or Lamp, not just vocally, but instrumentally as well. So if you're looking for someone like them, then look no further than here. What else can I say besides what the fuck? I remember in my Album of the Year video last year, I talked about metalcore and how I wasn't sure I was a fan of it. Well, I think after this year, listening to so many new great projects and classics of that genre, I'm a fan. Fallingwithscissors is just another example of what that genre does best. It's fast-paced, unrelenting, and pummels you with powerful breakdowns. This band is a lot like Soulkeeper, who have the same blend of metallic hardcore and glitchy electronics that gives the songs on here a variance. This is done in addition to the drum and bass interlude that give good pauses to this album's unrelenting breakdowns. They, just like Soulkeeper, are also from my home state. So there's that, I guess. Check them out if you're a fan of metalcore and that whole genre. Good modern jazz is just hard to find, but acts like Bad Bad Not Good have kept up with the times through their countless collaborations, working with a wide variety of people, and all in different styles of music, especially with hip-hop like Denzel Curry and Ghostface Killah. But in this EP, Slow Burn, we hear their lush jazz boasting Baby Rose's distinctly soulful vocals to great heights. And it's an excellent pairing, and in its 5-track run, gives a decent introduction to Baby Rose for those who, like myself, who have never heard of her before and are looking for new R&B music. Slow Burn is just a quick burst of some pretty soothing and pretty smooth soul that is excellent for any time.
Ugly and I'm proud! I'm ugly and I'm proud!
Is that what he calls it?
Wow, to be ugly is one thing, but to be ugly by UK standards is something else. No, in all seriousness, this band is impressive, and if I had to pick one EP from this list from this year, this one would be my favorite. It's album length and is the longest one on this list, but has the same proof of concept quality that most debut EPs have. Although this just as well could have been an album, but I'm not gonna start splitting hairs here. They labeled it as an AP, whatever. Twice Around the Sun is such a great experience to listen to. Its unique blend of boisterous traditional folk progressive rock, and indie sensibilities make it enchanting. Probably one of the closest things in comparison to this band would be bands like Renaissance or the Decemberists. Maybe it's the prog rock, folk rock dork in me, but this was just an utter delight, which is why it's my favorite EP from this year. So check this one out. If you had to check out any of them, this would be the one. Well, thank you for watching. I'm hoping that you guys found some new music here to listen to. Are there any EPs that I missed out from this year? If so, let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.